Hi friends, thanks for coming over today. Today I am working with wallpaper and Amazon packaging. I'm going to create an ephemera holder and 3 tags using these 2 items. I removed the backing from the wallpaper and I stuck it down on the Amazon paper. And this first sheet here, I'm going to cut away the extra paper and then cut these into tags. I have my tag shapes now. Now I'm going to go ahead and create the cover. And on this one, instead of cutting it, I'm going to tear it so that it has a little bit of a jagged edge. Now I'm just going to go ahead and fold this in half so I can find the center point. And we are going to add pockets. I'm using a piece of scrapbook paper for the pockets. And you can see that I cut a little notch out in the center. And that's so when the folder folds in half, the paper won't get bunched up. Now I'm using a piece of cardstock to back the tags. I would have liked to have left just the Amazon packaging on the back of the tags, but they were too flimsy. So I needed them to be a bit more firm, and that's why I'm using the cardstock. I put the tags backed onto the cardstock on my paper cutter and I cut those into shape. And now I'm just removing a little bit of the paper. There's a little bit more than I'd like right there on the top. So I just pinched that off with my fingers. I have a stencil. This was given to me by my friend Darcy of Darcy's Misadventures with Mixed Media. And this stencil can be found at PM Artist Studio. I'll be sure to link that in my description box. Well, I'm using yellow ink on brown paper, so this is going to be very, very subtle, which is what I'm going for. Don't know if you'll even be able to see it once I pull the stencil off, but I'll see if I can get a close-up so that you can see the effect. It's very subtle, but it's there, which is what I was going for, because I would like to layer that with some stamping. I'm not the best at stamping. I'm really still in the experimental phase of it. I wouldn't say I have the best skills, but I do know what I'm going for here is a layered effect. So I've started with yellow with the stenciling, and now I'm going to go in with another light color. Pink will barely show up on here, and again, that's okay. This is just some flowers, and I'll put a few of these stamps on there. And then the next layer of stamping I'll do in a darker color. Next, I will go in with a bird stamp, and I will use brown with the bird stamp. And we'll see if that shows up a little bit more on this Amazon paper. I'm going to use the brown ink with a couple of different bird stamps. And again, I'm just placing them here and there just so there's a little bit of interest on the Amazon paper. While I'm working on this project, I wanted to mention to you guys that this month there is a big collaboration going on, and it is called the Gothic Girls Collab. That's the hashtag for it. There are 21 collaborators, and somebody is making, each artist is creating a video, one artist per day throughout the whole month of September. This is hosted by myself, as well as Jennifer of Scrapbooks and Memories and Bex of Black Whisper Crafts. I hope that you can join in. There are freebies on my Facebook page, which is called Creating with Jovi's Journals and Crafts. You can join the group. It's a private group. You can join, and you can download those freebies. And if you were interested in the Gothic Girls printable kit, that's available in my Etsy shop. There is a lineup of different collaborators / artists, and I have that posted on my Facebook group and also on my community tab on YouTube and also on Instagram. So let's talk about these tags. As you can see, I have layered this one up with lace, and I went around the edges of the lace on my sewing machine, and now I'm just cutting the extra lace to match the size of the tag. I have a fun doily that I'm going to add, but before I put the doily down, I want to put some fabric underneath of it. And actually, I've decided to do a couple of layers. I'm going to start with this cream colored fabric, and then over top of that, I'm going to put some black lace, and then I will put the doily over that. I've glued that cotton fabric down, and now I'm actually going to grab a stencil, and I'm going to do a little stenciling on top. I'm not sure if it'll be noticeable in the end because we are going to put lace over top of it, but I thought it'd be cool to try it out, and if some of it shows, then that's great. And actually, the stenciling on this fabric turned out pretty cool, so that's something I want to keep in mind for future projects because I don't think I've ever stenciled on fabric before, so I really like how that turned out. So now I just need to remember that that's something I want to try again in another project. So our black lace does cover most of the stenciling, not all of it though. I can see it there on the edges. And now I have just hot glued the lace on, and then I hot glued the doily on top of that. I've got a piece of that fabric, a little piece of scrap, so I'm going to go ahead and use that as a tab, and you can see that I simply used my hot glue gun to get that tab into place. Now I'm going to work on the next tag. I have a piece of beautiful lavender lace, so I've cut that to kind of to size. It's a little bit larger around the edges, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'll trim it to perfect size later. I'm going to tack it down in just a few places so that I can get it over to my sewing machine without it having to slide around, and then I'm going to sew the edges on. I love the effect of the lace over the wallpaper. I just think it's so very pretty. I have a piece of pink trim. This pink trim was actually given to me by my friend Bibi of Bibi's Closet Creations. I decided I'd go ahead and tack a piece of that onto the tag, and then I'm going to put a little white bow on top of that. I have added a fabric tab as well, and to dress this up a little bit, I'm going to put this little white flower, just hot gluing that in place, and then I'm going to show this to you up close. I think it turned out so very pretty. We have one more tag to go, and I'm going to pop this one in one of the pockets here, and then we'll get started on our third tag. I already added a bird sticker to this one, so I'm going to take this piece of scrap lace that I have, and I'm going to turn that into a tab, but I'm going to do it a little bit different than I did the other ones. This one I'm scrunching up sort of into a ruffle shape, and I've sewn right across the top of it, so it sort of just fluffs out, which I like. Now I'm playing with some other pieces of lace and a piece of a doily just to see what else I want on here. I've decided I definitely want this yellow lace at the very bottom of the tag. I'm going to add this yellow trim at the top of the yellow lace. I have an offcut from a doily that I've used, it was laying around on my desk, and it's just sort of like a piece of scrap, but I really like it, so I'm going to add that to where I sewed the lace piece on for the tab. I think it would be nice to add a piece of bling to this tag, so I'm going to use my gem tack, and I'm going to tack on a flat back gem. Here is this one up close. I love the way that it turned out. So we only have 3 tags right now inside of this folder, so I definitely want to make one more. It bothers me for some reason that we have an uneven number. I remember now why I only made 3 was because that's all the wallpaper that I had. I had just enough to cut 3 tags from it. So this one we're going to go ahead and start with a piece of cardstock. It's green cardstock. And over that I am putting a paper napkin. I've already taken the other 2 layers off of the napkin, and as you can see I'm using glue stick to adhere the napkin to the cardstock. Glue stick works fantastic with napkins. I usually like to wait till it's dry to tear it from the edges, but I didn't have the patience today. I mean, I gave it a minute, but I should have let it dry all the way, but that's okay. I'm tearing the napkin away from the edges, and you can see that it's not like a perfect cut or anything. I'm tearing it because I like the jagged edge that it leaves. Now, if there's some napkin on there that didn't get glued down or that I can't quite pull off the edge, I'm using my sandpaper to help me out with that. I'm going around the edges with brown ink. I'd like to add some interest to this tag, and I noticed the tag is super green, so I'd like to break that up a little bit. And I have this paper here, and it's got some greenery on it, but the background is more of a neutral color, so I feel that I want to infuse that into the tag. And so that's what we're going to do next. You can see I am going to take a second to ink the edge of that torn paper, and now we're going to go ahead and glue that down. Going to dress this up a little bit by adding some lace to the top, and the color of that lace matches the paper that I just added, so I think that'll bring everything together really nicely. I have two small clusters that I've made in the past, so I'm going to go ahead and attach those. One is going to go at the top in the center, and one is going to go on the bottom right. Since this is a bird theme, and I've used bird goodies that you guys sent to me for my 4K giveaway, I have decided that I'm going to stuff this ephemera holder with even a few more items, and I'm going to give this away also for my 4K giveaway. I hope you guys enjoyed the process of seeing what I could do with some wallpaper and some Amazon packaging. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. Thanks for watching. See you soon.